Well, Jeff, we hit past the halfway mark here. How did the guys look today?
It's one of our better days today. We were way better on defense. Kids had a lot of energy and a lot of fun. Our inside fun drill was the most, animated it's been since we've been here. And just, we're starting to get some young kids that learning the defense a little bit better. And so it's whenever the defense is happy, it means the offense is not. So I'm sure we'll go in there and watch it. It's like I always say, old man talk. It's never as good as you think. It's never as bad. And we did some good stuff though. We did a lot of situations today, a lot of third down and long, and it was just good for us today.
We hadn't talked much about the new offensive coordinator, Will Stein. I know he's not new to the staff, but just what have you seen out of him this spring?
I worked with Will at the University of Texas, so I've known him for a while. We actually lived together for a while until Carrie and JC got down here. So I've known him for a long time. He's a really, really sharp young coach and very passionate, loves the game, and I think he'll be a real up-and-coming star in this business. He loves kids. He was a very good player that always gained some street cred I never had that Will does get to have. And I haven't seen anything different. It's just what we hoped would happen. We got a lot of players returning, a lot of three-year starters returning. So the depth of the offense and what we're able to add right now has been exciting to watch.
Jeff, Jamal Ligon told us the other day that the focus through the spring is finding the defensive identity and defensive leaders. How is that process unfolding that you've seen so far?
Yeah, they're coming on. We talk about it and discuss it. And, leaders find other leaders. It's not that complicated. And that's what we're trying to identify is the few leaders we have on defense, can they identify who those people are and speak that into them? Speak into them what their strengths are and remind them why they should be leaders. And we're starting to see that slowly but surely. And that just comes with time and trust. And the more that we're together, the better that's going to get. So, yeah, we're really working hard at that.
Is Jamal improving in that way? Is he a vocal guy or somebody that people listen to?
He's not very vocal, honestly, but I made the reference before. He's a lot like E.F. Hutton. When he speaks, people listen. He's a great leader by example, but I'm really trying to get him to communicate more with his words. And I do hear him, speaking more. Not a big rah-rah guy, but we've got Rashad, we've got Day-Day. They're very verbal, but we need somebody in that front seven to replace, Chuck and Bull, who were really good. Now, Bull wasn't very verbal either, but when he spoke, people listened. And I see Jamal very much. Been a 2-year starter, other than injury, started every game he's been here in his career. And he's just violent. He's violent. Like today in Inside Run, it was just a violent thud. He just is one of those guys, man.
How about Trevor? Could he be that guy from a leadership perspective, or is it kind of the same thing as Jamal?
He's always just had to get his off-the-field stuff taken care of. On the field, has never been an issue with Trevor. He loves football and playing. It's just the other stuff. That's where he's worked his tail off, just like Clarence did, just like Day-Day did. Those kids really grew up off the field, and that's where Trevor's making his biggest adjustment. Because once he does that, those guys are going to listen to him more because he doesn't have those other issues. So, no doubt. Again, another 3-year starter like Jamal. This will be their 3rd-year star for me inside. So, and I've told y'all that I'm forever loyal to those 2 kids because our first year here, they're about all we had, and they played almost every snap.
You guys scrimmage again Saturday?
Yes, sir.
What kind of benchmarks do you look for in a second scrimmage in the spring?
It's a great question. We're really beat up right now. I've got to go in there and have a plan. It's going to be different than it was last Saturday because we were pretty much not full strength, but we were way more healthy bodies then than we are now. So I've got to get in there and look at that. I would imagine a lot more situations, probably some high red, some third down, intermediate, third down long, because we've worked on that this week. Probably more situational football. As a coach, I just like to put the ball down and play. It just is more natural. I hate going situations, but I think it might be time because of the situation where we are in depth. We might have to eliminate the threes, might just be ones and twos. I'm not for sure. I'm going to get with Nick and see where we are injury-wise, but we took a few more today, and we'll just have to see.
Jeff, overall, are any of those significant injuries? Any guys that are going to miss some significant time?
Yeah, we've had a couple that are going to be out for probably, minimum of 8 weeks, maximum of probably 12 to 16. Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's hard, but you're not going to be a good football team if you don't practice the game of football. And we try to be smart. We don't go. We're not live very much at all. It's just we got hamstrings, we got groins, we got dislocated fingers. We just got stuff, right? And then you throw in there the couple of surgeries you've got in there, and it just starts to get too much. And if you're not careful, you'll injure your healthy guys because they're having to do too much. It's sad because we got some real battles going. We're deep in certain areas that can sustain it, but the threes are probably fixing to get cut, I would imagine.
Going back to Trevor and Jamal, how much does it change the defense to have two guys with that much experience in the middle? How much of an asset is that?
It's going to be huge help because our D-line is going to be so young. We've had some kids that played in there, but when you lose Lorenzo, who would have been a multiple-year starter, you lose Chuck, a multiple-year starter. Those are big losses. And you lost to DQ, who was also a multiple-year player in there. So having Trevor and Jamal to calm everybody down in there, and they were great. We weren't terrible Saturday in the scrimmage, but it was not to our standard. And I think Trevor and Jamal give everybody a calming influence. Rashad's not going yet, and he'll be a calming influence. But Clifford Chapman's one of those kids we're really counting on to come on. He's a very verbal person, obviously Day-Day. So, yeah, that's something we're really working hard at.
I've seen quite a bit lately. A lot of local high school football staffs come out here and get to watch what you guys do. That community, that fellowship, to have them out here, what does that mean to this program and you guys?
Yeah, it's continued to just get more and more and more. I'd say we average, probably 20 coaches here per practice, but today I'd say we were at least up to 40 coaches that were here, which is exciting because it reminds my coaches to, watch their mouths and coach a certain way, and it's just good little reminders for all of our players to go up and introduce themselves, and it reminds all of our high school guys where they came from. They take pride when their coaches come and watch them. But yeah, we've had a San Antonio staff here every single practice, and Madison was here today. I hate to start naming names because you'll leave out somebody that I wasn't quite sure was here. I know Cedar Park. There's quite a few staffs here today.
And as a former high school coach, what can you get out of watching a college program operate when you are a spectator?
I would have given anything to have had somebody in East Texas like that. We'd have to go to Marshall, East Texas Baptist, or A&M Commerce. Closest one we could get to, be SMU. 2.5 hours from East Texas. It's just not a lot of universities around there. So it just makes you think. You just see different ideas, maybe scheme, maybe practice organization, maybe a quote a coach used in an individual meeting, maybe the way the head coach runs a team meeting. Just there's always, that was something we were very committed to as a staff, that we would go see somebody. I take the offensive staff for 1 week wherever they wanted to go. Say it'd be Clemson one year, and then I take the defensive staff for a week, and we might go to Alabama for a week. And of course they want your players, so they're going to treat you like gold, and you learn. I really believe it helped me become, not that I'm any good, but it's however good I am, I know that expedited my learning curve by getting to be coached by the very best coaches in the country.
All right, thanks,
Thank
Jeff.
y'all, man.